No offense, but if you still think stocks...
In.
Defending the nation has been a dream.
I bet when you were joining too, your recruiter knew. He's like, I'm not gonna say it.
At 4 years old, doctors diagnosed
Roblox and
I was in shock.
Greetings, minions and associates.
If you're already a minion and you would like to tithe, please hit like. If you would like to become a minion, please hit follow. If you would like to confess, please do so in the comments. And if you would like to evangelize, please share. Today we're going to be looking at the military and the military's attitude and outlooks towards autism. Now, I'm going to first play a story here that is not about the military. It's about Microsoft, actually. And I'm going to get into how Microsoft is doing things a little bit different now and really taking autistic people into consideration.
When I was diagnosed with autism, the psychologist explained it like there were very limited career capacity for me.
Before I came to Microsoft, I was struggling to get employment, and I had these skills in math, but nobody was giving me interviews, and it didn't seem to be going well. I worked a couple of minimum wage jobs. It was work, it paid the bills, but I definitely could feel that I was destined for something more.
I feel like I get to have a pretty significant impact on Microsoft.
By having people with disabilities in the fabric of our company, you're building in a diverse workforce that then represents the 1 billion people with disabilities out there. We're going to be building better products, we're going to be building better services, websites, anything that we do will work across the spectrum of being human.
And so every time we get an opportunity to bring somebody in who can see things from a different angle, every time that happens, that's where we find these great creative types who can come in and help us deliver the things that we care about.
I'm Cody Takeyoshi, and I'm a software engineer at Xbox Live.
My name is Joey Chemis, and I'm a data scientist here at Microsoft.
MJ Gardner, software engineer on Azure build pipelines and engineering systems.
There is just an incredibly high unemployment and underemployment rate when it comes to autism. A traditional hiring process, that's not going to allow someone with autism to show up and show their strengths.
For me, the autism hiring program was the chance to finally, make it. You're saying, here's the things that come with autism that the standard interview process would flag. Here's how we accommodate those issues and make them less of an issue. And here's how we allow the person to really shine and show their true colors and abilities.
I think this is just a better way of evaluating. This is just probably a better way for anyone.
People are looking for companies that reflect humanity. There is incredible talent out there in the marketplace that should be in our company.
This program has given me a mirror to reflect on the things that make me different, or how could I maybe
This is really cool. I totally want to interview this lady.
change the way that I work in order to bring some of these experiences forward.
My hope for the future is that we won't see this as a program, but instead a natural way to recruit key talent in our organizations.
So if I was talking to a younger version of myself, I would let myself know that you're gonna do really cool things and that you're gonna major in math, you're gonna really love it, and that you're gonna end up getting a really cool job at Microsoft that you just enjoy. The people, the work, the type of problems that are being solved.
So to be here is just really cool. I'm very proud of where I am.
That's interesting. I see this has been going on for a couple of years now, and what there we go. Alrighty. And they have been embracing this neurodiversity thing for a couple of years. Let's see how this is 6 years ago. I want to interview these people and see, because I haven't really heard much about it since they started doing this.
What looks like playtime is also therapy for 3-year-old Jace, who has autism.
He was just diagnosed in January, so it's kind of a new diagnosis for us.
And stop.
Whoa! Jace's family had been stationed in Germany. His dad, Ryan, is in the Army's Special Forces, but they just got a compassionate reassignment to transfer to Joint Base Lewis McChord so Jace could get therapy at the brand new CARES, standing for Center for Autism, resources, education, and services.
You're rolling. More.
Jace works closely with a speech pathologist.
So it's hard, and he gets frustrated sometimes when he can't communicate and explain what it is or that he wants, and then in return you're getting frustrated because you don't know what it is that he wants.
But at CARES, the whole family gets help. The staff connects parents to counselors and resources on and off base to help deal with everything an autism diagnosis can bring. It's another way the Army says it prepares its soldiers to be fit to fight.
Ultimately, readiness comes from so many different aspects. And when a family feels supported all around, that actually helps that active duty member even.
I wonder how serious they are taking this, because basically, if everything's going home okay, your soldiers are going to perform a lot better if they're not worried about what's going on at home. They're going to be able to concentrate on what they're doing and so forth.
More so.
The center at JBLM is a pilot project. If it works well, others could open at Army bases around the world.
I can see improvement. His speech is improved and his behavior a little bit too.
They're throwing in ABA.
What they're doing here is magic. I don't think you can put a price on somebody's smile. And for
Every day when Doug and Lori Lundgren wake up,
the only sailboat out here.
they look out on what they call the Davis Marina.
Canoes, kayaks.
Nicknamed after his neighbor, Chuck Davis, a maritime attorney who had a great love for the water.
Just think about what.
That has nothing to do with anything. I don't know how that got there.
Can you get drafted if you have autism? Whether or not someone with autism can be drafted depends on the severity of their condition and the military's current standards. In general,
I'm guessing this is American. Without identifying what country.
Individuals with a history of autism are evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Factors such as the presence of co-occurring mental health issues, required medication, or the individual's ability to meet the physical and cognitive demands of service play a crucial role. It's best to consult directly with military recruitment officers for the most accurate and personalized information.
Probably going to be it. Yeah. That was like really not much.
Can autistic people join the Army? Individuals with autism can join the Army under certain conditions. The key factor is the severity and functionality level of their autism. Candidates with a history of autism are subject to a medical evaluation to determine their eligibility. They must demonstrate that they do not have detrimental symptoms that would impede their ability to perform military duties. This includes but is not limited to the ability to socially interact effectively, comply with orders, and adapt to the stressful and changing environments characteristic of military life. Waivers may be considered on a case-by-case basis for potential recruits.
Yeah, I haven't. It's changed so much since I went in. I don't know anything about it.
Can you be in the Army with autism?
Yes.
Yes, individuals with autism can join the Army, but eligibility depends on the severity of their condition and how it affects their ability to perform military duties. Applicants with autism must pass the same physical and mental health screenings as other candidates. In some cases, a waiver may be required if the condition is mild and does not significantly impair their capabilities. It's essential for individuals to discuss their condition openly with a recruiter to understand the specific requirements and possible accommodations.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Now, the reason I'm putting these little blurbs on here is because it's coming up. I noticed in this last week, and I'm going to get into talking about Israel here pretty soon, but I just noticed last week that that there's a lot of stories floating around about military and so forth, and autism.
I saved hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Liberty, 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 liberty.
Now this is
we help individuals and organizations better lead and manage change, and now we're in October of.
It struck me as interesting, so I'm gonna look at this one. Like I said, this is 6 years old, so it's not exactly up to
2016, Juliet De La Rosa was clicking along in Air Force basic training. Her dad is an Army major. Her grandfather was in the military, as well as her great-grandfather. She was called in for medical evaluation, including behavioral health, as part of her screening to be in air traffic control. A few weeks later, Juliet was involuntarily discharged from the Air Force and accused of fraudulent enlistment. Her parents and she were puzzled. They requested copies of her medical records, found notations about this mental health history that they had no idea was in those records. Come to find out, in those medical records were notations about her treatment as a child for some behavioral health issues. They decided that they should check the sister's medical records before Samantha enlisted in the Army. They found similar notations in Samantha's records. Samantha tried to enlist and she fully disclosed those notations, but the Army denied her enlistment and they denied her request for a waiver. This story has some implications for military families. Parents, at the encouragement of all the services and DoD, have been taking their children in for behavioral health counseling. Nobody says that that should stop, but what the De La Rosas are concerned about is that other military parents may not understand that their dependent medical records as a child are merged with their active duty service records, service medical records. They also contend that civilians are treated differently. If a civilian child decides to join the military doesn't have access to those prior medical records. For their part, the Air Force says they wholeheartedly encourage people to get help when they need it. But they require recruits to be truthful when they enter the military. Nobody is contending that anybody who's unhealthy should be allowed into the military. But the De La Rosas, they would like military parents to understand what could be in their records. They would like military folks, when considering whether to allow a child to enter the military who has been a dependent, to review those records with an eye toward that unique situation.